Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you feel like being a lurker and you don't want to say anything, then you can just be a lurker and not say anything. That's also okay. Harold threw some emotes in the chat before we really got going, which I appreciate. Welcome, welcome. It is a Saturday evening. The plan is to start this new model kit. We got the Dagger L. It is a grunt from Gundam Seed Destiny, and it's looking pretty neat. Should remind you before we get things going for real, we are currently at 44 subscribers. The goal is to get to 50. I stopped talking about getting to that goal when we hit 50. So if you would like me to stop talking about that, you can become a subscriber or gift a sub to somebody in the community, or you don't have to do any of those things. Those are just options that you have. We are going to get going in just a moment or two. We're still in the intro portion of the stream. We're still chill and hanging out and chit-chatting and we are occasionally max and relaxing, but it's a Saturday. It is the night before Easter. Happy Easter if you celebrate. I did not do a themed stream for that. Really, it's just Halloween and Christmas are the themes, and occasionally Valentine's Day. Christmas definitely, Halloween mostly, and then occasionally Valentine's Day. But I usually don't buy like a Lego Easter Bunny thing. I don't go for that. Lastbrook's here. Hello, Lastbrook. This might be a chill evening, which it might be a chill week. I think Monday was probably our busy day. I did have a good, consistent amount of people coming in and out on Tuesday, and we had a big rain on Tuesday. But Thursday was a little light. Tonight might be light too, and that's okay. That's just if that's what we're dealing with, that's what we're dealing with. I am excited to work on this kit. This is a kit from 2021. Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny are not necessarily my favorite shows, but I do like a good grunt. And, I do like a kit that does not require me to put a whole lot of time into it with stickers. Because the last kit we built had a lot of stickers. The Pulaski Wing had a ton of stickers. So it was nice to not have that. I'm going to, I don't do this that often. I'm going to retweet my tweet, see if we can get a few more friends to join us here. Because that would be radical. It would be cool to have that. So maybe we'll get that. Maybe we can get a few more people to come join us if I hit this button and hit the retweet. Yeah, we'll retweet it over on Twitter. All right, let's go to the overhead. Let's see what's up. And let's get into this fun kit. This is gonna want a lot of marker, which is nice. And I don't mind doing it, certainly. So we'll get out here. Excuse me. Looks like most of A is our chest pieces that we're gonna need, which is good. It'll be fun, simple, straightforward. We'll just we'll get going on this here model kit. I thought we could spend a little time tonight talking about WrestleMania. Next weekend, WrestleMania. I'm going to take Saturday off. Not going to stream that day. Just realized I made my calendar for next month, and I don't think that I took that off. So actually, hold on. I really need to check that right now. I need to see, did I put that in the calendar that I made? Do I still say that I am going to be streaming on? I do have that day. All right. So I have to edit that because I am not going to be streaming on the 6th. Saturday 6th. All right. I'll export it and get all that ready because it's the last day of the month. I'll have a new song for when we stream. Or sorry, it's the last stream of the month. Tomorrow is the last day of the month. Today is the last stream of the month. So I will have to have new stuff out for people on Monday. And on Monday, I will, of course, have a new dance song. So when people hit the dance button, I'll have a new song to dance to. But, of course, that's Monday. I have the current one right now. But, yeah, so I'm going to take next Saturday off. So a week from tonight, I will not be streaming. And then I'll be back on that following Monday. We'll probably talk a lot about wrestling. I'm going to watch so much wrestling. I have wrestling to watch tomorrow night that I'm very excited about because actually happening tonight, but I won't be watching it live. I'll watch it tomorrow evening, is Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling's Grand Princess 24, or Grand Princess 24, because they usually just say that, which is one of their big shows of the year. Great card. I am hoping for some title changes. I'm hoping for some of the younger talent to be able to step up and make their claims. Hey, Aristovan, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. But yeah, I am hoping for Miyu to beat Miyu. I don't think she will, but I would like that. And then I'm hoping for Daisy Monkey to pick up the big win and become the new tag champions. And I think they will win. I think they have a shot at picking up the big victory. But I don't necessarily think that unfortunately, I don't necessarily think it's going to work out for Miyu Watanabe. I don't think she's going to become the Princess of Princess Champions. But the Princess Tag Championships, I could see going to the young upstarts of Suzume and Arasu Endo. All right, so how does this work? This is going to point like, okay, so this is going to go, this polycap, instead of putting this polycap like on a spot like something like this, which you normally do, instead we're placing it where it would normally clip on, and then something's going to pop in there, which is an odd way to do it, but that's what we're doing. And then that turns over. And then this, already there are a couple parts of this kit that I'm like, wait, what are we doing here? Why are we doing it like this? All right. So we'll see. And that has to... This is basically, they're like, fit as tightly as possible, which feels weird and not great. And I'm like, am I doing this wrong? Because it doesn't feel excellent. But they're like, no, you got to fucking put some pressure on this thing. I'll double check that there. There's only so many parts of this kit, but I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I'm doing it right. I think I'm doing it right. So this looks like this. And then this goes in here. It also has to slide. It has to slide over this part, so it's facing the other way, and then go down. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. It's one of those things you're like, hey, Tony, welcome. Happy to have you here. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'm doing what they want. I'm pretty sure I'm doing what they want me to do. It just feels weird. That's not a great feeling. But yeah, this doesn't feel right. This just doesn't tightly fit the part. Yeah, this just doesn't... All right. I have tightly fit the part, and we're going to find out if I did this right, I guess. Because then this is supposed to look like that. And then this is supposed to be like this. And then they fit together. Okay. Sort of looks right. I don't know. This might be a case of once I assemble this all together, I will look at it and then go, huh. Oh, I think that was right. Okay. You know what I mean? We're going to find out pretty soon if I did this right. Basically, we're doing the chest and the waist together, and it's a little confusing, but I think I did this properly. And if I have to undo my work, I'll undo my work, and that'll be okay. It happens. To go back to what I was talking about at the very beginning of the stream, WrestleMania next week. The card is not set in stone. We don't necessarily know when every match is going to happen on what night. Wikipedia does not list a match that is all but confirmed, but I'll tell you about it. But they have not listed it yet because it has not been fully confirmed. But one match got offered to take place, which will most likely happen because it'd be weird if they were like, no, we're not doing it. And then also there is another match that got set up that we were going to see, or that did get confirmed. It got confirmed without a challenge being placed. So it's a weird thing where it's like Rey Mysterio was like, hey, Santos Escobar and Dominic, my son, I want to wrestle against you at WrestleMania with a partner of my choosing. And that partner is Dragon Lee. And they were like, ah. And then, so he made the challenge, and then people were like, oh, we don't actually know if that's the match that's going to happen. So you can't say that. So that it wasn't listed on Wikipedia. But then later in the evening, Bianca Belair was getting beaten up by Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane of Damage Control. And then Naomi came out to make the save. And then they were still getting beaten up 3-on-2. But then whose music hit? Well, it's Jade. Jade Cargill showed up. And the end of SmackDown was Jade, Bianca, and Naomi standing in the ring together, looking at a disheveled and unhappy Damage Control. And then apparently that match got booked for WrestleMania, and that six-woman match is going to happen at WrestleMania. That means we won't have the women's tag belts on the line, which is a bit of a shame. It does mean that Jade's... So this is... Because people were like, what are they going to do with Jade? Is she going to go to NXT? Is she just going to go to the Performance Center for a while? It seems like she's been doing some Performance Center stuff. And mostly they've just been waiting to, have her show up. She was at the Royal Rumble. She competed in the Royal Rumble and did great in the Royal Rumble. Then there was a lot of like, well, what brand is she signing to? And they were doing that. And then last night she officially signed with SmackDown and showed up. Came out in a stellar outfit. Looked rad as hell. Cut a short promo. Signed on a dotted line. Became an official member of the SmackDown roster. And then later when she showed up to help out Bianca and Naomi, I know some people were like, why is she helping them? What is that? Why would she care? Well, because Damage Control, after she came out and debuted and signed the paperwork, they're like, who cares about Jade? Who cares? Jade, welcome. We run this place. It doesn't matter that you're here. And apparently Jade took that personally. Like, that's all the justification you really need. It's just like, oh yeah, well, you talked shit. And now you're going to, you fucked around. Now you're going to find out. Which I think is a perfectly reasonable justification for her being in the matchup. So Jade was in the Rumble, and then her first match outside the Rumble will be WrestleMania, which is pretty great. That also means we have a WrestleMania match with Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi on one team, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane on another, which means we have a match with 3 women who are black and 2 Japanese women. And that's kind of fucking wild. And then, of course, there's also Io Sky versus Bayley. So we have another Asian woman on the card as well. But that's kind of fucking nuts. It's got a lot of cool, talented ladies out there making it happen in the WWE. And Tiffany Stratton, not on maybe in a pre-show. She'll end up on a pre-show, but people were assuming that she would get involved in something. But I could see Tiffany Stratton like going after a title once it's over. So we don't know when most of these matches are going to take place. We know when a couple are going to take place. We know that night 1 is The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. And the winner of that match will determine the stipulation for Cody versus Roman on night 2. We also know that on night 2, Seth Rollins will defend his title against Drew McIntyre with commentary from CM Punk. So we do know that that's happening. We know that that's on the agenda. All right, so we'll tilt this up so we can attach B2. We tilt it back so we can attach B2. 1, 2. Okay. Now we'll finish up the waist here. Once I finish this waist pieces on here, then we will go in panel line the whole thing. But we got to start by doing this part here. 1 and 2. All right, great. So we know those matches are happening night 1, night 2. My assumption is that Io Sky versus Bayley will be night 1. I also wonder if Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch are night 1. They could be night 2. I think Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch should headline night 1, but Bayley also won the Rumble, so theoretically she should be in the main event of a night. So like I could see it either way. I think night 2, Seth versus Drew should open. That's my personal opinion. Okay, so this twists down so that this piece can go on. So I might have done this waist piece wrong now that I look at it. I may have done this wrong. No, but then when we put this there, then this piece should... Ooh, okay. Oh, all right. Well. Hold on. Okay. So this has to go... Yeah, this will be on like that. When I look at it, this waist looks straight here. But this kit doesn't really do the... Or this part of the waist, yeah. Okay, so this part of the waist... Yeah, it does look like that. So I may have put this piece on... Oh, that... Yeah, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. Yeah, because that's going to be... Should look like this, but when I put these together, this has got a weird twist to it. Okay, so I think my mom met The Rock tonight at arena football game in DFW. Oh wow! All right, well there you go. Yeah, The Rock owns not NFL football. He owns like other football stuff. Hey, we just got a rated by Shanks Kitsune. Thank you very much, Shanks. Welcome, Raiders. Happy to have you here. I'm currently working on the Dagger L. We are starting the kit tonight. And I am currently confused about this piece, which I think I may have put on wrong. So I'm currently trying to figure that out. This piece needs to rock back and forth. It did say, fit tightly parts as far as they will go. And so maybe it's not just, it hasn't gone. It isn't as tight as it could be. I don't know. But this piece is supposed to be like back here. Perfect world, it'll fit like that. So I don't know. But this doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. So I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Which is always a tough thing, right? It's just like, this looks like it should be perfect, but it just isn't. Hey, Dirty, welcome. Like that just doesn't look right. Like this here just doesn't look like how it should look. So I'm like, am I doing this wrong? What am I doing wrong about it? Let's see if I can pop this off and pop it back on, right? Yeah, it doesn't... It needs more clearance. This piece definitely needs to fit back in better. So let's do some disassembly. Let's see if I can disassemble this down to the base piece here a bit better, because that should theoretically make my life easier if it does that. So we're just going to take apart what we did. We're going to undo the work we did because I do think that'll be better. As far as WrestleMania stuff goes, we also had, as I said, Io Sky versus Bayley. Bayley won the Royal Rumble. She got kicked out of Damage Control. It was very obvious it was going to happen. Obvious doesn't have to be bad. This one just did feel like, okay. Feels like they were like, oh, we know what we're going to do for WrestleMania. And, oh, yeah, well, we did it. We went ahead and did it. We could have taken longer, but we didn't take longer. Okay. So now now we're down to basically the beginning of this. Because this is the piece that needs to go in here. So I'm going to try to get this piece off as best I can without breaking anything. Okay. All right, let's go back to talking about wrestling in a bit here. Let me just figure this out. So this piece goes like this. Now I need to see, this has one side and the other, and I don't know if that matters at all. It doesn't look like it does matter, but I'm going to get real close on the instructions here to see if I can tell. I do think it goes like this. And then I want to put this in here like this. And then it tells me tightly fit the part as far as they go. It's just like, all right. That seems to be, I don't think that's going to get any tighter. All right, now let's reassemble this as we go through it, and we'll reassemble everything, kind of figure it out as we go. This goes in like this, and then this goes back on here. Other matches for WrestleMania: Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. I am expecting Gunther to win. That is my guess. I do not think Sami is going to pull it off at WrestleMania. I could also see this being the show where Chad Gable cost Sami Zayn the win, because Chad Gable didn't win the #1 contendership and has been telling Sami, you don't even believe in yourself. I believe I can beat him. I have to beat him. You don't even think you can beat him. So I could see Chad Gable costing Sami oh, he would have had it if not for that kind of a thing, save some face for Sami. But I could see that happening. Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch is going to be a fucking barn burner. Those two ladies can cook. I don't think you need to take the belt off Rhea Ripley, but I also don't know who on Raw makes any sense to do it. If not, Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch did have a book come out, and WWE could probably, she's still doing book tour stuff, so I could see her bringing the belt with her and people being in the office being real gung-ho about that. I could see that being a thing. So I could see her winning. One of the matches that I don't hear too much buzz about, but I'm excited for myself personally, is the 6-pack tag team ladder match for the tag titles. 6 teams will compete. The winning team, one member of the winning team has to climb the ladder and retrieve the belts. It just has to be one person. I don't think it has to be both unless they change the rules. But right now, that's what the rules are. The Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest defend against DIY, which is Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa, I should say. The Awesome Truth, which is The Miz and R-Truth. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. A-Town Down, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. And the New Catch Republic of Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Pete Dunne having been freed from his terrible gimmick of being called Butch. He is Pete Dunne again, which is great. And the fun thing about that is, of those 6 teams, I would be happy with any team winning. I guess I don't want Judgment Day to win simply because they are annoying. And they've been champions for a very long time, and it's probably time to move the belts to somebody else. But I would be happy with Awesome Truth, yes, please give R-Truth his flowers. Give him a belt. Let him be confused. That's fun. I like that. DIY can kind of use it. DIY is in a weird place where they get like they don't get a big pop when they come out. The audience is kind of like, oh yeah, all right. But once they're wrestling, the crowd comes alive and the crowd gets behind them. So it's just like they're in a weird spot. Maybe being champs would help that. Of course, New Day winning. Big E is doing some of the pre-show stuff. He'll be around. That's always a feel-good moment. Never a bad thing when New Day have the belts. Always going to be happy with that. Always makes sense when they're champs. A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. I mean, those guys are mid-carders, but they are... Like, Grayson Waller's a good wrestler. I just, he's easy to hate, and I don't think Austin Theory is particularly that good as a wrestler, but he's also easy to hate, and it's enjoyable to watch them cheat to win, and then also cheat and still lose. So, like, yeah, I could see myself getting pretty happy with watching them goof the fuck around with a belt, with tag belts. And then New Catch Republic, if you're telling me within months of debuting on the main roster, Tyler Bate is a tag champion with Pete Dunne, that would be great. And then maybe we could have them wrestle against Pretty Deadly, who should be in this. Pretty Deadly should be having their WrestleMania moment. I'm annoyed more than any other person that's missing it that it's Pretty Deadly are not involved in this as far as tag teams go. I think they're a shoe-in for that. I don't think they're going to have like a pre-show thing with anybody, which is a shame because they're very fucking good. All right, B26, the back of the head. And eventually I'm going to need B25, the front of the head. So we'll get those connected. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. If you asked me a couple months ago, what is AJ Styles and what is LA Knight, what are they going to be doing at WrestleMania? I would have said, I have no idea what AJ Styles is going to do at WrestleMania, but LA Knight is definitely going to be taking on Logan Paul. Like, Logan, and going into Elimination Chamber, Logan and LA Knight had a lot of animosity towards one another. They've cut promos against one another. It's been good wrestling bullshit. So I would have thought for sure they were going to pull the trigger on that. And then AJ Styles cost LA Knight. It just shows in kayfabe, in storyline, friends. AJ Styles was so mad that he wasn't involved in Elimination Chamber, and he blamed his lack of being there specifically on LA Knight. So AJ Styles, again, in kayfabe, in storyline, was so mad that he bought himself a plane ticket and flew himself to Australia just to make sure LA Knight didn't win and didn't get a title shot in the Elimination Chamber, which is grade A, unbelievably excellent hate. That is some haterade hate. And so, we respect and appreciate that level of fuck you. I'm going to make sure you don't get yours. It's very good. So we did that. Okay, I think I've put this piece on right. I've been staring at this piece for a second here. I think I did it right. We'll find out later if I did it wrong. So yeah, I wouldn't have thought that. I still think LA Knight versus Logan Paul is how Logan Paul loses the United States title at SummerSlam, because SummerSlam will be in Cleveland, where Logan Paul is from. So I think that's where he will lose, because I think that feels very WWE to do that. So that's going to be my guess, is that's where he gets his comeuppance. Which tells you what I think of Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. So you would say, if you looked at those three, well, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, like, one of those guys is going to just beat the shit out of uh, out of each other, out of Logan Paul, in some way, shape, or form. It's obvious, like, oh yeah, he's not going to survive this match. He's going to lose the belt. But there are a couple things that might make that difficult. The number one being that there is now a official sponsor of WrestleMania, an in-ring sponsor for the event. That is Prime, the drink of Logan Paul and KS1. Okay, so yeah, I did this piece of this head wrong, and I cannot figure out how to do it right. Sorry, everybody. Oh, okay. It goes like that. Got it. Sorry. I'm figuring this out now. So yeah, I don't think Logan Paul, with the Prime logo in the center of the ring, is going to lose his first match with this deal in place. I think he is going to walk out of WrestleMania still United States champion. And I think this is going to start a Kevin Owens, Randy Orton feud, because one will prevent the other from making the tag. And then honestly, I think Kevin Owens will take the pin because Kevin Owens doesn't mind taking the pin. And then Randy will be mad at Kevin, which will start a feud between the two of them that may also lead to SummerSlam. That is my official opinion. Do I want that? No, I think Kevin Owens winning the United States Championship would be fun. Again, he's been a good champion with that belt. I love it when a Canadian is U.S. champion, especially a Canadian that is so goddamn French-Canadian like our boy Kevin Owens. He's just so goddamn... he's such a Quebecer. Okay, so this is... It's funny, I was talking about how this kit was going to be so easy to build and was going to be like, oh, I told myself, I think I said this, in my monthly Patreon Q&A, which I recorded today and put up today. I was like, I might finish this during the stream tonight. That's not going to happen. This kit looked very simple, but there's been a few parts to it that have been really weird and I have struggled with. So I definitely don't think I'm going to finish this tonight. Who knows? Maybe every other part of this is going to be a breeze, but this head gave me way more trouble than I was expecting. Now we have, instead of stickers, we now have this lovely clear piece that's going to go in here for the visor. Again, the only clear piece, a clear blue, lovely clear blue, going on there, making the head look fantastic. The only other match I haven't talked about so far for WrestleMania, which is next weekend, is Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. That's right. It's the Battle of the Brothers. The twins are fighting. The multi-brand fight. Will this have an effect on the main event of night 2, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, where either... it's bloodline rules, which means there are no rules and the bloodline could just interfere, even though they do all the time. Or if it means the bloodline cannot be at ringside, which we've already proven doesn't matter because they just show up at ringside anyway. This has already happened several times. It just means they won't start out at ringside. Stipulation is a bad one. And also... one would assume that Cody and Seth lose on night 1 so that Cody can win on night 2, but who the fuck knows at this point? I don't fucking know. I still want to believe that Cody Rhodes is going to pull off the big victory. He's going to finish the story. He's finally going to wrap things up. Because I believe Rock is going to be starting to shoot a movie shortly after WrestleMania, so he'll be out of the picture. Roman could take some time off and come back, and then Cody can deal with stuff he can run Saturday and deal with the fallout of the bloodline and various other shenanigans and things of that nature. That's my guess. Again, of course, I don't know, but that is my guess. Is it going to be Cody? It could be Roman still. It could be Roman until SummerSlam. They could postpone it until SummerSlam, or till next year or never, and he'll just be the forever champ. I don't fucking know. Hey, Lord Crashington, welcome, welcome. I have no idea what's going to happen, but my hope is that Cody does it, because I don't know if you can keep doing this. I don't know if you can keep you can, like, he can't win the Rumble next year. He just can't do it. He's got to fucking finish the story. Gio says, hey, I just don't. How's the build? I remember liking the Dagger L HG a lot, especially liking the fact that it has no stickers. So we talked about that. Yeah, so I started this build. Hello, welcome. Happy to have you here. Started this build about 30 minutes ago. I ran into a little bit of a problem with the way that the waist part of the thing that's going to connect to our waist, the torso, I guess I should say, the way it met in with the chest. I was not understanding how a certain part was going in. Once I got that and figured that out, it's been a breeze since, but that did give me some problems. That seems to be an issue of my own making and not really a big deal, but it did prove challenging. But I like the face of this immediately. I think this looks really nice. And other than that, yeah, it's been a pretty breeze to put it together. We did note that this does not have stickers, which is pretty rare for a high grade, and that is a nice thing. So if folks out there are looking for a cool looking grunt kit that does not have any stickers, this is an option. And again, as always, friends, I don't mind stickers too much, especially like eye stickers. I think those are important, and I understand that color correcting stickers are like part of the deal. But, the last kit we put together had so many stickers, and it didn't ruin anything, but it did have a lot of those stickers that like bend and fold and go over curves, and I'm never great at that. So the fact that this is just looking pretty good immediately, I'm satisfied with. Let's see. Maybe we'll get into some gaming news. There's not a lot of gaming news. We talked about a bunch of stuff on Thursday, so I don't know if we immediately have a lot we need to talk about tonight. But there could be a few things that we could chit-chat about. Let's see how that goes. The main stickers you don't like are those that bend and curve. Yeah, even the ones that are like, like they have the thing where it's like, oh, it's this piece here, and then a little bit junks off, and it like has to fold over, and it has to like fold at a 45-degree angle to like do the bend, and you're just like, I just don't know if I'm ever going to make that look good. It's just like, those are rough. Those can be rough stickers. They're not the worst things in the world, but they can be rough. All right, we're going to build the right arm. We're going to start working on the right arm here. So we got that going. Let's see. There's a bit of Embracer news in the world of video games. So supposedly, now that they've dealt with selling off Gearbox to Take-Two, and Saber making the leaving and all that, supposedly Embracer is done laying people off. Supposedly. Their restructuring is over now that they have made some money by selling some things. They are saying, hey, yeah, indeed, Lord Crashton, of course, yes, sure they are. But they have cut, they have laid off, and then also gotten rid of companies that had, or subsidiaries that had employees, to the tune of 1,400. Like Eidos Montreal, Nimble Giant, a bunch of stuff got canceled. Volition and Free Radical got closed. Like, these are just like examples. I did not list all the things. I just listed a couple of the things. Saber Interactive, 3D Realms, Slipgate got sold to a private firm that apparently is scuttlebutt. Is this private firm has at least somebody involved in it who used to own one of those companies. And then the Gearbox deal, they kept some things. They didn't keep everything in that deal, but they did, which makes sense. Hey, they didn't keep Borderlands, which makes sense. And, the rumor for a little while there was that Randy Pitchford was going to buy Gearbox out. He was going to buy out Gearbox. That apparently that didn't happen, and instead Take-Two happened. And who knows if we don't know. We don't know if like different money was offered and they went with that deal instead, or if that was never actually serious. We don't know. But I'm sure that there'll be some people will be loose-lipped about it. But right now we don't know if that actually happened or if that was ever actually serious. We don't know, but we do know that they're going to be Take-Two has made that purchase for $480 million. And of course, one of the parts of the segments of Gearbox that did stay with Embracer was Gearbox Publishing, which is a small little thing as the publishing arm, which they're going to rename because they don't have the rights to Gearbox. They also laid off most of that staff, so it will most likely just become a thing that gets swallowed up by Embracer, and because you don't need a bunch of different small publishing arms within your own organization, especially when you seemingly are not super interested in publishing things from outside the companies you do still own. Who knows? Glad that Embracer lost about 2/3 of the money they spent on Gearbox. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's it's a rough state of affairs. It's a tough racket. I feel bad for employees who are just doing their thing, that are that have no control over who they get sold to and who they stick around with. Obviously, you could just say, if you want to just be callous, if you did not want to think too much about it, and you just wanted to say the obvious cruel thing, you could say, well, if my the company I worked at ever got acquired, or if we ever got embraced, then I would just get a different job because you're on the chopping block. And I've seen that sentiment. Like, well, why would anyone still be there? And the answer is because other places are laying off people too. And independent studios are having trouble, more trouble than previous years, getting backing and getting publishing deals. The big indie publishers have moratoriums. The publishers that make their own product and then occasionally publish other people have, according to some folks, ridiculous deals they're putting through with very little money and a whole lot of demand for control of the thing in perpetuity, and it's like it's in rough shape. It's a rough time to be looking for money or a new job in games. There's always a rough time in many fields. I'm not talking about. I am generalizing about this one particular field because that's what the discussion was. But yeah, when I see people being like, I don't know, you should be looking for other work. It's like, yes. So should you, person commenting. You should also be looking for other work. You're not gonna, but you should too. And we hope for more unionization in our gaming. That would be fucking fantastic if we could get a little more of that. It would help out lots of people. Lots and lots of people would benefit from that. As always, folks, unions cannot prevent your layoffs. They can reduce the amount. They can fight and win better compensation packages, and to make sure you get that compensation when these things inevitably go wrong. But they're not miracle workers. They're just certainly better. Collective bargaining is certainly better than you going in alone. It is not a magic cure, but it certainly has many benefits. Lord Crash says, I know somebody that got laid off by EA shortly before the big wave, and he's having fun dealing with having tons of competition in his area. Oh, I'm sure, right? Because, like, also, a reminder, friends, that um, some people, when their call came up, when it was time to go home and stay home and work from home, plenty of people did move, right? They did move when given the opportunity. They took that opportunity. They ran with that opportunity, and they found work. They started work from home, and then they moved to cheaper areas because they didn't have to commute into their jobs or whatever. But people, not everyone did that. Not everybody had that the ability to move during a pandemic. Um, so when you talk about folks that have to still work in an office and still have that in-office environment, they are generally in places that are not cheap to live. They don't have the benefit of that being an inexpensive place to work. So not only are you competing with a lot of people for the same jobs, you are also dealing with high cost of living in your area because that's where the jobs were. And even though it has certainly changed in many ways for the better, uh, you know, there are plenty of middle management and even low management, plenty of low management too, but middle management that feel like if they can't look at you over your shoulder, you're not doing the work, even if productivity goes up when you do work from home. And there are many fucking studies to back up that data. But plenty of people are like, nope, it's got to be this other way that definitely doesn't work as well. And that's not to say that there aren't people out there who thrive in an office environment, that miss having an office, that would, if given the option, would want to come in and work. There are plenty of people that do not like work from home, that need to be able to get out of the house. That commute for them is therapeutic. There are people like that, and I'm not trying to dismiss them, but I know a lot of folks that were pretty psyched when they didn't have to drive their cars into the city, or take several trains or commute into a different state. Because most of the people that work in certain towns can't afford to live in those towns. So they have to live in other places. And sometimes those places are across state lines. Yeah, and all that stuff. It's just like, yeah, I totally understand why some people are like, I do not want to go back to the office. I get it. Let's paint a line this arm. Let's make this arm look nice and pretty. Let's see. Are there any other news stories we say here? Again, there wasn't big the last couple days. We do have a small amount of layoffs, but every layoff is a bummer in the industry. Certain Affinity, that is the name of the studio. Certain Affinity is laying off 25 members from the United States. They have been a studio for 17 years. This is apparently their first layoff. That does not make things easier or better, but that does, I think, show an indication of where people are at. They are at the size of a studio. That is a interesting thing to think about, because you may be like, Certain Affinity, isn't that a Microsoft-owned studio? No, they're just a contract studio. They helped make Halo Infinite. And basically, they said, their CEO was like, yeah, we're having trouble getting funding for our next game. And so we're just going to reduce our overhead as best we can, because the deals we are going to get we aren't going to be able to do them with the studio size that we have, which sucks, obviously. It's not like, oh, we made bad bets. It's that the funding isn't there, which is a shame. Because say what you will about Halo Infinite, there's plenty of things that are definitely wrong with it, But if you worked on Halo Infinite, like that should be a good foot in the door. And a studio that's certainly done plenty of other things. They are working on an RPG. And they were supposed to be working on a the thing that they were supposedly working on for Microsoft was a Halo Infinite spin-off. They're still partnering with 343. They were supposedly working on a battle royale, which, hey, probably a good idea. They're no longer making a Halo battle royale. Like, that's probably a good idea. You can use the tech, in some ways, and like it probably makes sense. But just from a like perceived audience for that, it's like, yeah, it's probably not. It's probably a good call to cancel that. But also, then you gotta hope that you're picking something else up right away, and it's clear they weren't going to be picking something else up. Let's see, any other things here? In a story that is so much, there's not much to say about this thing. A no duh. This is in the no duh category. Hey, according to a report from Inside Gaming, the development of X-Defiant suffered because of Ubisoft's boys club mentality and toxic work environment, which is, again, certainly a fucking bummer, but also kind of a no duh, kind of a yeah, you know what, weird, right? It's like, yeah, that makes sense. It sucks. Don't get me wrong, it fucking sucks, but like, yeah, I'm sure it did. I don't know if X-Defiant was ever going to be good, but it certainly couldn't be great with this current structure at Ubisoft. Closed group of protected individuals who think they are better than everyone else and do as they please without any repercussions, according to a developer who, of course, was anonymous. Several sources claimed it's added years onto X-Defiant's development cycle. One source cited these individuals' unprofessionalism and bad work ethic, and one club member is said to have more HR reports than I've ever seen. Because once again, HR works, the HR, human resources, we've talked about this before, bears repeating. Human resources is not resources available to humans that work there. It is managing the resource that is humans. And they work at the behest of the company. And even though getting rid of garbage people who are making work hell for folks that work there still and are still working there, you would hope that would mean that they would want to get rid of garbage, and so they would have less work to do. But no, they are paid very well to make sure that problems go away. And by problems, I mean people who report things. That is unfortunately what I mean by that. And of course, that fucking sucks. Sucks a whole lot. But yeah, this report on X-Defiant, I was like, yeah, of course. One developer told the outlet team members would tell the club about making certain choices years in advance to avoid future problems. Like, they decided that it shouldn't be a part of the Tom Clancy universe, right? And they're like, yeah, that makes sense, right? It's like, oh, we're working on this game, and maybe that doesn't mean as much to some people, or the people that really like the Tom Clancy games might not be interested in X-Defiant. So, like, we can clear this up. And like, to me, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's a decision before you start making the game. Because once you make that game in development, and you make that choice and you're like, oh, well, we're going to be our own thing, which means we now need lore. And we need to like make it its own universe. And maybe that's going to take time. They had to make their own universe from scratch, maps, in-game items, and other parts of the game, like the factions, had to be made from the ground up, resulting in corner cutting that led to huge technical issues. Because of course it did. Because of course it did. Yeah, it's a lot. It's just like a lot of yikes. That also makes sense. X-Defiant currently has no hard date. Many are told the outlet they just want it to come out so they can go to other projects. Yeah. Ubisoft sounds like a nightmare for a lot of developers. And again, in an era where finding new work is posing more and more challenges, it's no surprise that people stick with a company like that. Or, and the hope is that like the internally, sometimes the hope is, oh, okay, well, this whole group sucks, but if I can move into this other department, like that'll be better and I'll have a better time in this other place. Like I just need to get through this game and then hopefully I can end up on like the good team. And of course the real problem is how many good quote unquote good teams are there at that company. It's real rough. In other, I am not surprised news, a lot of people, the people who are still playing Kill the Justice League, are mad about the Joker in the Justice League. And I was just like, I mean, I can understand people still playing it because, sometimes you just play a game because you're hoping it gets better and you want to be on the ground floor when improvements come in and you can be like, yeah, this kicks ass now. DLC came in. Unlocking the Joker requires more of the same grind, and there's very little new narrative coming with this. He's free, but you have to. But you can also spend premium currency known as Luther coins, which I do think is pretty good. I do think that Luther coins is good. It might be the only thing about that game that has ever made me go like, oh, that's pretty all right. But you can unlock them faster by using Luther coins. You need to play the game's repetitive missions for a couple hours to unlock Joker. You get a new playable character with new talent tree to fill out, and he's got his own style of traversal. And storyline wise, there's a cutscene. There's an animated intro. And apparently that's about it. They added like 2 cutscenes and an intro. Also, part of this grind you have to do just for the Joker involves a boss that's already been in the game that you have to repeat again. They didn't even include a new boss fight. They just make you do another boss fight again. And, in some games, the repetition of the grind is the thing, right? It's like, oh, okay, because these changes are made and you go through this way and you do it this way. Like, you find new ways to enjoy it and you're finding new things. But if you don't like the grind, then those games become hellish. And it's like, why am I doing this? Yeah, it just it seems bad. It seems like people are not pleased, not happy. And again, these are on the one hand, these are people who are still playing a game that does not seem to be good. But on the other, these are people that are still playing the game at all. And so, like, if you're pissing off the people that are still there, like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. That sounds not good. If the people that are still there are like, yeah, hey, wait, what the fuck? Like, that's probably pretty bad. All right. Almost done with this. I need B2, 3. Great. And I think that is it for gaming news. Let me just figure out, we need the arch straight back here. Okay, great. And that goes in like this. And then we just need C28. And we'll get this arm done. And of course, we'll panel line it, but we'll take a pause for the cause. I talk about ways you can support the channel. I said pause, like pause. Pause for the cause. Not trying to do my Long Island. Sorry about that, everybody. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nick, this is just we hit our goal because of Nick. I'm throwing the Bear Cave Lego the site tier 2 blue emote. Please throw some into the chat there. We reached our goal. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site tier 2 blue emote if you're a tier 2 member. Thank Nick this is for gifting subs to Rock Pusher, Geo Chillin, hell yeah, Sleepy, Kirkies, Ben H, Ralph Red 420, and Little Titan. Sorry, Little Titan. Oh, it's this Little Titan. Thank you so much. Enjoy those gifted subs. Thank you for the 6 gifted subs. Thank you, Nick. We now have hit our goal, and I can remove this. We don't need these here. We don't need those in there. And now I shut up about our subscriber numbers until we drop below, and I have to start again. But yeah, that's very kind of you. Appreciate that, Nick. Thank you so much for that. We are going to panel line this once we are done with our... and I can get rid of these for now. Now that we are done with that, we can do our pause for the cause. Now, this is, if you are unfamiliar, this is a part of the stream where I'm going to talk to you about ways that you can support the channel and what I do here. Everything I'm going to talk to you here is optional. You don't have to do any of this stuff. If you would like to, that would be rad, and I would love it. If you don't want to, it's okay. It'll only take a couple of minutes, and then we'll get back to model kit building. So we'll just call it like that. If you are currently a subscriber to the Build With Baer Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through $5 a month cash money or your Prime Gaming token. If you Amazon Prime link with your Twitch, you get that token. You use it for anybody, so you can use it for me. Or you could gift a sub like Firestar Man and Nick This Is and Aristofan. Those are plenty of people that gifted subs, and that's very kind of them. You could also do bits and coins like our good friend Harold and Giant Frying Pan, who also gifted some subs this month. We appreciate them for that. But yeah, being a subscriber, easiest way to support what I do here. And I would appreciate it if you would like. You get the emotes, you don't see ads. Hello. That is an easy way to support what I do here. I'm going to go through a few other ways that you can support what I do so I can continue to build model kits. Again, everything I'm talking about for the next couple minutes is optional. You don't have to do any of this stuff. But if you would like to, you're more than welcome to. And then once I'm done with my ad reads, we'll get into some conversation about manga and anime while I continue to work on this cool model kit. Well, yes. I mean, Kingslayer 430, that is a valid point. Because I'll talk a little bit about like my wish list and all this stuff. But y'all hanging out here financially, if you are a subscriber here, if you join my Patreon, if you do any of that stuff, everything I make through the various options that I'm going to be talking about here all feeds back into me having the ability to buy more model kits to build. I used to have a backlog, and then I started model kit building on stream, and I don't have a backlog anymore. Because I build kits 3 times a week and it adds up. It just means that I don't have that opportunity. So I do on my Patreon. You can join that. There are different tiers. Consider joining over there. YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Being a subscriber is free if you want to sub to my channel. But while you're there, you could also become a member if that's how you'd like to support me financially. You get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday, which is a little easier for there. If that's something you'd like to do, if you want to help me out in that way. And then if you just want to do a one-time donation, that's another way you could do it. If the monthly ways that I have suggested of helping me out don't work out for you, there is also that. I have a PayPal and a Ko-Fi, and everything I make, as I said, through direct donations through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund, and from that fund, I buy model kits. The Dagger L, which we are currently working on here, we'll get back to in a couple of minutes. I was able to pick up that kit because of past you's generosity. Present me gets to build this kit. So if you want to help out future me, you could do that. Because, as I said, I don't have much of a backlog, but I will be building stuff out of my backlog. I'm always happy to do that. Now, if you want to decide directly what I build next, the easiest way to do that is to buy something from my Amazon wish list, because it'll come to me in the mail, and I will make a dedicated video for my YouTube channel about the kit that you have purchased, and to give you credit and say thank you. And then also, it jumps the queue and becomes the next thing that I build. I have Lego sets. I got model kits on this list. Inexpensive kits, expensive kits. A couple new things added to the list pretty recently. Some stuff that I have been thinking about for a while. It's like, oh yeah, I'd love to build that. That's on the list. Lego kits, Gundam stuff, some model kits that are Digimon and Pokemon are in there. A bunch of different things that I'd be happy to build if you want to pick it up. And then some gear. I always like to have some gear options, because sometimes people are like, I don't know what to buy, but I would like to help you out. Which is totally understandable. It would be great if people wanted to do that. So that's my Amazon wish list, which it helps out a lot. And then I do have Throne as an alternative to my Amazon wish list. I have my Throne wish list. It's nice to have an alternative to Amazon, even though some of the things on that list are coming through Amazon, but some people just don't want to use Amazon at all. So it's nice to have the alternative. And also there's the surprise feature in there. And then also the most convoluted way to support me financially is to buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store. So the most convoluted way to support me is to go to USA Gundam Store, buy a gift card there. They send you an email with a gift card code, then send me a whisper on Twitch or a DM on Twitter, because my DMs are open, with that gift card code, and then I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. It is the most convoluted way. I do not have a P.O. box, so people cannot mail me kits to build. That is a thing that I briefly toyed with when I was still in New York. Here in South Carolina, it is not financially responsible for me to have a P.O. box, so I don't have one, but I have certainly thought of it on occasion. That is something I would like to maybe have it someday. Right now I don't have that, because every once in a while somebody is just like, I'd like to send you this thing, and when it's my friend, like a friend, I have certainly said yes to friends before who are like, do you want this Lego? I have built Lego on the stream that people bought during lockdown, and then we're like, hey, I'm never going to build this. Do you want it? And they're a personal friend of mine, and I have said yes. But as far as giving my address out to strangers, I'm not doing it. And I think you know why. Now, if you want to support me and not spend any money, I have a Discord. You're more than welcome to go hang out in my Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. It is a nice little community. I talked about how I have a YouTube channel. A couple videos I would like you to watch on my YouTube channel are my episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club. There'll be a new episode out on Monday. The most recent episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club is me talking about live action movies based on anime, and the ones that I think are pretty good, because there are some that are good. And I talk about a few. And a couple I cheat, because I'm actually talking about the stuff that's based on the light novel or the manga, but also it had an anime adaptation, whatever. I did my best. Also, all the ones I talked about in there are readily available, which is important. And then Kuma Baer is my ongoing video series where every week I recommend an anime, and I try to keep it under a minute, and they're vertical because I'm trying to push them out to social media. And this week I talked about New Game, the fantastic, lovely little slice of life comedy series about a small independent game studio and through the eyes of a young hire, the ins and outs of working at a place that just so happens to only hire women and make some games. And an anime that is very gay in subtext and then occasionally in text, but mostly in subtext. But a very fun watch. 2 seasons of New Game. And of course, they named it New Game ! And the second season was called New Game with 2 exclamation points, not New Game Plus. And they fucked up by not calling it New Game Plus. They could have and should have. And they didn't. All right, I'm going to talk about a manga that I've been reading and some anime because we are at the end of the anime season, but nothing new has started up that I've been watching. So now I am just watching. I'm not watching anything yet, but I will be soon. So I'm going to get caught up with you on some stuff that I have been watching that I haven't been talking about. And then, of course, we'll get into talking about some anime and manga after I drink a little water. And I'm going to read this message. Nick, who donated a bunch of subs, 6 subs, says, I request that a portion of the positive energy generated from my gifted subs go directly towards Miyu Watanabe and Daisy Monkey finishing their story tonight. Laugh out loud. Yes. I will be watching it tomorrow. Of course, I will get spoiled by the results, which is okay because I'm not watching it live. But tonight we will have Miyu Watanabe in the main event taking on Miyu Yamashita for the Princess Championship. We're hoping that Miyu starts a new dawn as a nice young champion in there. Because also, who the fuck else is going to win that belt? And then Daisy Monkey winning the tag belts, overcoming the odds, being the plucky upstart young underdogs. First time belts for each of them would be rad. It would be great. I hope for them. I think it's more likely they'll win than having a part-timer who's not a freelancer continue to be one of their champions. But you know, it is what it is. I think that's more likely than Watanabe picking up the win. But I hope for both of them. Actually, the title change that is the least likely is Kamayu winning. Because they're going to fucking keep that belt on the idol that they have. The actual working outside popular idol. I think she's going to be the champ for a long ass time. Until she gets really busy and can't be the champ. So yeah, sorry Kamayu. I think you just have to be the belt. You just have to keep carrying around that Singapore championship that you don't have to defend. Because that company does not care about their titles. All right, I am going to transition back to the overhead camera. We're going to keep working on this model kit. We're going to talk about some manga and some anime. And we're going to dramatically transition right now. All right. Let's panel line this arm before we start working on the feet. And we're going to start by talking about a manga that I have been reading that I think is pretty fun. It is called I'll Never Set Foot in That House Again. And it is the kicked out of the blank style of series, but a female protagonist. It is not an isekai. It is a fantasy series. It is not going on the romance, but it is also taking a lot of inspiration from female-focused. Plain Girl has something special about her, and now a bunch of boys are around here. Although I will say, in this instance, because she is so young, the boys are not looking to marry her, but they are looking to become father figures or big brother figures. It is a story of a young lady who... She is the older twin, but her younger twin gets all the attention, and she doesn't, her dad doesn't pay attention to her at all. He's not really around. And her mom is just mean. Her mom has big stepmom energy, big evil stepmother energy, and there's evil stepsister energy. But it's like that's not that's her flesh and blood. And she's malnourished, and she's feeble, and she is kind of hidden from a lot of people. And things change for her, though. Things change for our main character, Chelsea. Because on her 12th birthday, they're like, hide. We're going to have someone from the Royal Research Institute is going to show up to see what your ability is. Because, 12th birthday. But, you don't have one, so we're not going to have you do it. And she's like, oh, okay, whatever, fine. But on the registry, they're written as twins. So Glenn, our boy Glenn, is like, where's this girl? Show me this girl. And it turns out that our girl Chelsea has a unique ability they've never heard of. They've never seen before. It's called seed creation. We find out later that seed creation means she can make any seed that she wants. She can grow any plant that she wants without a problem. She learns about it. She reads about it in a book. She can make it. And obviously, you and I would say, because we're all practical people, even in a fantasy world, if you're practical, your first thought is, oh, that just solves a country's food problems, right? Because she can make any plant. But also, because of her imagination, she can make any plant or tree or bush or whatever that produces double or triple or doesn't get sick or doesn't require a long time to grow. But one of the things that happens very early on is, it can be any tree, like the world tree. And then the spirit guarding the world tree is just like, you made this? Great. I take the form of the cat most times, but I'm the most powerful spirit in the world, and I would like to form a contract with you because your power seems great, and that's awesome. And I'm going to hang out here and be your talking cat that also can be a handsome man, because every man is handsome in this fucking manga. And then they're like, hey, come be in the Institute. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to look after you. And our girl Chelsea makes friends. She has a bunch of people looking out for her best interests. She's starting to eat healthy. People are taking care of her. And her sister's going to the school as well because she is talented. And we start to see her exhibiting some strange behavior. And it's not immediately a cute, wholesome slice of life. It's not like, things went bad and now they're good. Things are still rough on occasion. But it's mostly this girl who just lived a really rough life, finally getting to have a bit of happiness. It's a great read. I'll Never Set Foot in That House Again is you get to watch this girl kind of blossom and stand up for herself. Like that's a line of dialogue, right? That title is her declaring that these people that treat her badly, she's begun to understand and respect herself enough to be like, no, this was a bad environment. I now have a support system, and that support system isn't going to go away just because you're mad about what's happened. It's a great story. There's a couple volumes out. I am looking forward to reading the next one when that comes out, which I think is pretty soon, actually. But yeah, it is a kick-ass story, and it goes some interesting places. We're currently in the next big arc of it, where I've left off reading, and it's fucking going to some weird spots. It's a good time, and that again is I'll Never Set Foot in That House Again. It's a good manga. And now I want to just kind of give you the brief overview of two shows that I really like this season that I did not talk about weekly. I made the decision before the season started that I was going to watch Solo Leveling at my own pace. that I was going to enjoy it because I love the manhwa. It was so good, and I have been burned by some webtoon adaptations before. But this is the one that I really read. You know, like I've read Tower of God. It's not my favorite, so an anime adaptation, I was like, oh, that's fine. I didn't read God of High School until after the anime started. Noblesse was such a weird adaptation that was kind of a bummer in many ways. Like they've been really hit or miss. So I was like, I don't want to talk about this weekly if I'm going to be bummed out because Soul Leveling isn't going to stand up. Hey, Soul Leveling is fucking great. They announced a second season. There's going to be a second season. I don't know when we're getting it. But we would probably be sooner rather than later if they already announced it. It's done very well. It is now the standard. This is now what you have to live up to if you are adapting a story. If you are adapting a South Korean comic, you now have, like, this is what you'll be compared to. It's like, oh, well, you know, it's no Solo Leveling anime adaptation. And I know some people, they don't love that manhwa. I think that manhwa is fucking fantastic. I think this anime adaptation is unbelievably good. It is, if you read a lot of these kinds of stories, it can feel cliche, but please believe me when I tell you, a lot of manhwa is just inspired directly by Solo Leveling. And it's slow build. Look, our guy, it is not a spoiler to tell you that in episode 12 of the first season of Solo Leveling, so episode 12, our guy gets an ability that he will use throughout the rest of the manhwa. And you might argue, and I think you'd be right to argue, that it is the most important skill that he has. It is kind of what the whole thing is about. And he doesn't get that skill until episode 12 of the series. I would argue, the defining skill of our main character. It is a slow burn. Our Zero to Hero story is taking its sweet time. It is explaining how these things work, things that are how powers work, what a hunter is, how guilds work, what the gates are. All this stuff that some stories just skip over because they're like, well, the audience knows about this. This one is patiently letting you know, so it is a great one of those if you are interested in that. If you're like, yeah, why do Korean comics, not all of them, but a lot of them, why do so many of them have guilds in place? Like, why is the first thing they think of when there are gates and there are people with weakened abilities, why do they form guilds? And it's like, okay, kind of going into the logistics of that and the country aspects of it. The adaptation is gorgeous. Even this episode 12, which is mostly action, the CGI that is used in places is good. The obvious, these characters are CGI. They look like they're in the right anime. Because that's my big beef with a lot of these series is when they do CGI, it looks like it's something from a different show that was just like added in. And that is not the case in Solo Leveling. Everything fits and blends well together. It's gorgeous looking. Again, incredible voice acting. I think the score is good. I think the opening and closing themes are not great, and I'm hoping for season 2 that they put a little effort into that, because I think that's, if there's one place the show is lacking, it's probably that. Soul Leveling is an epic. This is an investment in the future of more, because we're definitely getting at least 12 more of it. My highest recommendation for this season is get caught up on Frieren. If you didn't start Frieren last year, you should start it. If you let it fall to the wayside because you got behind on some stuff, or you were sick of one of the arcs taking so long, get back into Frieren. But if you're looking to start something new, if you were like, I would like a new show this season, then that new show, my number one recommendation is Solo Leveling, because it's fucking great. And the other show that I have been watching, that I have certainly enjoyed, though maybe not as much Solo Leveling, is The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. Which I will tell you, if it doesn't get a second season, they fucked up somewhere, because they sure do set up what the second season's going to be. You ever watch a show where it's got like this, where like the arc ended, and then it's got like this moment where you're like, okay, and it kind of gives like a goodbye, like it's a show that doesn't think it's going to get a second season? That's not this. The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic kind of ends at episode 11. And episode 12 is like the coda on the end of episode 12 or episode 11. And then episode 13 is just like, anyway, there's other shit that's going to happen, and let's set that up. It's episode 13 of The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic is basically episode 1 of season 2 of that show. It's strange. I don't know if I've experienced it quite like that before, where it's just like, do you think you're getting a second season? You're acting like it. It's weird. Anyway, Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic is an isekai. Our main character has an aptitude for healing magic. He is not supposed to be there. He is not the hero. He is not the great hero with the hero's ability. That is the cool dude that he went to school with. He is not her his close advisor, who also will learn powerful magic and be the guy's rock. That's the girl that he's had a bit of a crush on, but mostly just been friendly to and supportive of in school. But he's got an aptitude for healing magic. And he still wants to do the right thing, and he also wants to help his friends, right? Like, they're in together. So this is not he's kicked out. This is not you were a mistake, so, you got to go. It's none of that. I missed a piece here, friends, so I need to pop this open, which is, I got excited talking about anime and missed this. So I got to fix my mistake, so please bear with me here as I try to get a good opening to wedge this open. Opening for an opening. So he goes to train how to be a healer. And his instructor, his captain of one of the healing squads, is a sadist, seemingly a sadist. She just seems like thrilled to treat him terribly and to put him through his paces. Her philosophy is everyone suffers if the healer dies on the battlefield. Like, you're the rescue squad, but if you die, then no one gets rescued. So you have to be, and we can't have people protecting you, so you have to be able to protect yourself. So her big thing is toughening up healers. And he doesn't love that and complains the whole way, but does have a begrudging respect. And it is also her story. It's his story mostly, but it also is her like growing a bit as a person and him being a good influence on her and her starting to accept some of the loss that she has felt over the years. And it kind of gets lovely, and their relationship is fun. There's just like a lot to this show, and yes, he does become an overpowered main character, but he's an overpowered main character in a weird way, a unique, interesting take on it, because as the title suggests, he heals himself as he takes damage. So, and his punches, he's also just very strong because he heals himself as he is training. And so he ends up getting very strong in the training, which allows him to continue to train, to get stronger, to be able to help people out and fight when he needs to and defend himself. And it becomes a really weird take on the support class. He's like a non-religious paladin in a way, because like he's still, he can heal and he can like help people out, but also he could just like take a punch and dish out a punch because like, well, his fist isn't going to hurt if he punches somebody because he'll just heal himself. It ends up being a very interesting, fun story. There is a cool bear that is blue, his friend. So he gets a cool partner. I was talking about this show as it was like going to be coming out and how like I enjoy the manga of this and I was looking forward to checking it out. And I was like, the thing about Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic that I like is my favorite character in the show won't even be in the first season, but like it's still a good show, even if like you might not know this about me, but I generally really dislike characters that get added in late in the show and then become the focal point because it means that other supporting characters kind of fall by the wayside. There's a new character that gets introduced into this in the manga that is like my favorite character in the show. I will only say that they are a cool owl. And there's other stuff going on, because of course there is, because it's a fantasy world. But at the very least, I will tell you, there's a fucking cool-ass owl in this show. And we didn't even get to see it. We didn't get to see the owl yet. Maybe we'll see the owl. Maybe there will be a season 2. Like I said, they seem to be setting up a world where there is a season 2. If they do get a season 2, I don't know. But they're definitely like, they seemingly are trying to make that happen. So I hope they do. I hope we do get that. It'd be neat if we did. All right. We are almost done with this leg here. Of course, we got a panel line and do all that. That is the end of my anime recap stuff. I will have more stuff. I promise at some point I will talk about Sandland. I still haven't watched any Sandland. I need to. So I will talk about Sandland on Monday, and then I don't know what else we'll talk about on Monday. Whatever show I haven't really gotten to yet, I'll look at what came out in the winter season that I've been watching that I haven't been talking about. We can chat about that. Maybe we'll talk about another isekai. I'm going to look real close right now to see. I believe the first show started today of the spring season. Yes, the first show started, let's see, on Monday. Oh, so on Monday, I can talk about, Train to the End of the World. I can talk about Train to the End of the World because that comes out on Monday. So I will have a new show to talk about on Monday. Because I think that's the only one that's coming out on Monday that I am interested. Oh, no. 14 hours. Yeah, that's Monday. Banished Former Hero. Okay, so I do have some shows on Monday. I can start talking about some new shows. Today was like might have been the last day of like, me talking about like what's coming out. Or, yeah, because new stuff is starting. Yeah, because on Monday I got Train to the End of the World and Banished Former Hero Lives As He Pleases. Those are 2 shows I'm going to be watching. Those are Monday shows that I know I'm starting. Did anything today come out? Shin Yara Nakai came out, but I don't think anybody picked that up. I wasn't expecting anyone to pick that up. Yeah, nobody picked that up because that's a one-off episode. But yeah, nothing new started today that I'm interested in, but there's some new stuff starting on Monday. Nothing new starts tomorrow. One thing started today, but it's not a thing that I wanted to watch. Studio Apartment, Good Lighting, Angel, like that's not a thing that I want to check out. You know what I haven't watched is I haven't watched the 12th episode of season 2 of Mashal, Magic and Muscles. I got to watch that because that's a great show. So yeah, on Monday I'll have some new stuff to talk about, and then I'll have to see what's going on for Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and start picking up some new stuff. Sandland, it looks like it's weekly, so maybe I'll talk about that on Thursday because it doesn't actually look like on Thursday I have anything new right now to talk about for Thursday. yet. So on Thursday, I might have to talk about that. Oh, no. You know what? On Thursday, I'll have Laid Back Camp. I don't think I'm going to go through Laid Back Camp. I don't think I'll talk about Laid Back Camp. I don't think I'll talk about Slime, Reincarnated as a Slime. I might talk about Remonster on Thursday. Yeah, maybe I'll talk about that. So it looks like I have like one show. I will be watching, I'm going to watch my girls in the camping, but season 3 is probably a weird thing to be talking about weekly, so I probably won't do that. I think I found that my season 2s and season 3s of shows, like I didn't talk about Banished from the Heroes Party, Live a Quiet Life on the Countryside. Like I didn't talk about season 2 of that. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't talk about it because, it's a weird thing to be going through a show where I'm like, anyway, it's season 3, but here's just the things that are happening in it. So we won't do that. But what we will do right now is I want to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing right now? What's got you going? What are you excited about? Are you playing any video games? Are you watching anything? Are you reading anything? What's the haps? What's happening? What's going on with all y'all? I do want to hear from you because I'm always interested. I played some Hearthstone, of course. I'm enjoying Hearthstone right now. I am definitely looking for some new decks. I'm a little bored with the decks that I have in Wild. I have 2 decks in Standard that I like. One of my decks, or one of the cards I like, got changed. I had a Leroy Jenkins Paladin deck that I really liked, but the card that made that deck work really well, there was a card that could give it Wind Fury, so I could buff the card in my hand and then play it and then give it Wind Fury, and now the card that would give it Wind Fury doesn't give it Wind Fury anymore. They nerfed it, so the combo doesn't work anymore, and so that deck is kind of dead. So I'm looking for another. Whoop! What happened there? Big crash sound because we got a new follow. I forgot that's what the follow sound is. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that, Digital. Welcome. Yeah, for folks that don't know, I build model kits on Mondays and Thursdays and Saturdays, and then on Tuesday I do something that is not that. And I guess I'll tell you, because I might as well tell you now. While I wait to see if anybody wants to type in the chat what they've been playing or doing, I will tell you that I'm doing a little mini fundraiser on Tuesday. It'll be one of many, I think, because I don't think I'm going to hit my goal on Tuesday. I'm doing a fundraiser for some dental work because sometimes you just live with the fact that you have temporaries and then they start breaking down because temporaries are not supposed to be permanents. And then you have to get some dental work, and then you have to pay off that dental work because you don't have dental insurance. So I'm doing a mini fundraiser thing, or one of many fundraisers, I should say, not many. But the first of will probably be several will be Tuesday on the 2nd. So that is this coming Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. I'll be playing WWE 2K24. And if you donate $10 or more, you can put a message on the Ko-Fi that is what you want it to go to. If you want to suggest a wrestler or if you want to suggest a match type or both, you can do that. If you're like, yeah, I want to see this kind of thing, do one of these matches. Like you can make that suggestion, and yeah, I think that'll be a good time. Did I put? Oh yeah, that's what I didn't do. So you can come hang out for that on Tuesday. That's going to be my Tuesday stream. And I will probably be doing more of those because I do not expect to hit my goal in just one stream. Maybe I will. I also don't, at time of this recording, I don't fully know what the goal is because I haven't gotten a final bill on it yet, but I will have that on Monday. So on Monday, I will know what my total is. So I'm going to figure that out. I'll figure that out for Tuesday. Don't you worry. It looks like some of y'all are writing in here what you've been working on or what you're what you've been doing, which is great. So now I can read that. Let me just figure out what pieces I need here so we can build this together here. Okay, so Lashberg says, the first disc of my Bocchi the Rock Blu-ray had some scratches, so I had to do a rewatch to make sure everything worked. That's frustrating. I mean, it's a good excuse to watch more Bocchi the Rock, but that's frustrating to have a Blu-ray with scratches on it. So I hope everything's working out all right for that, for you. Lord Crash says, I'm up to 6 wins in Balatro now that I'm dipping into the extra decks that unlocked upon beating the basic decks. Yes, getting into some of the extra shit. All right. Nice. Got one good run on the deck with no face cards. They got me some good 1 million plus chip hands. Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, I think I'm done with that game. That game hurt me. I love it a lot, but I'm not good at it. And I got worse. I just kept getting worse at the game. I was going from like, oh, I think I've got this. I'm going to take some. Oh, no, I don't know. Oh, no, I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, yeah, no, I don't know what I'm doing here. And it's, oh, this game is now frustrating. Oh, I want to love this game, but I can't love it right now. It just kind of broke me in a way that isn't okay. Is this the right piece? This looks like that. And then this connects like that. Yeah, all right. And then Aristofan says, I've been playing quite a bit of Unicorn Overlord, which is a fun tactical game by Vanillaware, so lots of good animation. I have heard from my friends who I would describe as the kinds of people that would like that game. They are very pleased with that game. It seems to be a game for a certain type of sicko, positive, and they really seem to enjoy. I mean, people that would be predisposed to like Vanillaware games are really enjoying that. So I'm glad you're among them. I'm trying on Death Knight for the first time at Hearthstone. You're 13 episodes into Sailor Moon and trying to figure out how gay it is. So, well, that's my question is, Aristofan, which Sailor Moon? Are you talking 90s Sailor Moon? Are you talking the reboot of Sailor Moon? Because the answer is yes, but it depends on what you're watching, how yes it is. And if it is accidental or implied or subtext or definitely in Japanese, not so much in the dub, like it kind of depends. As far as Death Knight, I don't like Death Knight myself. I think of the newish clashes, because obviously Demon Hunter and Death Knight, like new is whatever you can say, but I think I'm more of a Demon Hunter player than a Death Knight player. I just think the core mechanic of Death Knight is not super interesting to me, but I understand why it's popular with other people. It's just not, it just doesn't hit me like it hits other people. This is not snapping together cleanly. There it is. Now it did. It had to actually snap. I said snap together. It had to really snap together. But anyway, 90s Sailor Moon subtitle is very gay. It's very, very queer. 90s. You want to go back to the original? Okay. So the dub tries to tone it down. The subtitle does not succeed in toning. It does not succeed in keeping the good shit from you. The subtitle version, like the Japanese original, it is okay. So it's 90s gay in that there are quite a number of characters who are playing archetypes that are very much going for certain things. Like, I mean, one of the villains is made a woman in the dub that is not a woman, because that's the best way to explain the character tropes that are being explored with that character. But also, like, the way Mars treats Serenity, the way Jupiter and Mercury interact with one another, the very concept of, like, hey, guess what? Sailor Jupiter, the tall girl, like, her character trait is, I'm too tall for boys to like me. but I'm very popular with girls. Like, that's her fucking thing. She's a good cook who's tall and beautiful, and girls, and she ends up being the being kind of masculine around her fellow girls. Like, it's just, there are so many queer cliches in it, and it is on purpose. Sailor Moon is gay on purpose. And again, the dub makes characters who are canonically in love with each other cousins. Like, it, it can be a lot. But yeah, I think the original Sailor Moon anime adaptation is messy in places and under extreme pressure from budgetary reasons in others, but it's got so much goddamn heart, and it's a lovely series. Yeah, I really do love Sailor Moon, and it felt like a revelation that it came out, that we like anime on TV at the time. Still felt like a big deal. Anime that was focused at girls being on, like, think about that. One of the first big anime in America was targeted at girls. I have been doing the dub because I'm tired at the end of the day. I mean, look, some of the dub, like, definitely reduces the queer content. It does tend to minimize some things because it is, at the end of the day, that dub is trying to appeal to girls, and also they're hoping that the action is enough to get boys. Like, that's the hope, right? It's so wild to think that they were just like, yeah, I mean, we think that there might be a demographic of girls that would be into this shit. Like, we think we're starting to wonder if girls might like anime, because it's only a couple years later that they take Cardcaptor Sakura, which they named Cardcaptor, and try it with that. They try it with Cardcaptor Sakura, and they're like, well, we think that the way to do this series, we think the way to do Cardcaptor Sakura is we're going to, oh wait, sorry, let's see here. Wait. Yeah, okay, so this looks like that, yeah. This is that piece. Okay, yeah, this is that piece. All right, that's the piece we need there. Great. Their solution to, like, how do we sell this to people that might not be into it is they skip a bunch of episodes to introduce the boy. When the dub of Cardcaptor Sakura came out, they thought that boys wouldn't watch it if the name Sakura was in there, because that's a girl's name. They, of course, who knew that at the time? And they cut some episodes, and they chopped some episodes in order around in order to introduce the male character as soon as possible, because they thought that boys wouldn't watch a cool show about a girl and her animal friend summoning cool cards to do stuff. They were like, well, if they find out that there's no boy in it until later, they won't watch it. And it was just like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but sure, you do you. We are going to call the stream here on that revelation. But yeah, so we're going to wrap things up there. We got a lot done. I'm going to finish this kit on Monday. So patrons of the $10 variety will get a poll tomorrow about what I start next. My backlog, unfortunately, I thought I was going to be able to restock my backlog recently, but it turns out I couldn't do that as much as I would like to, because some of the stuff that I have purchased is just still in the mail. It has not arrived yet, so I have not been able to bust that stuff out, but I will soon. We are going to end tonight's stream with a raid. That is how we end every stream. We're going to go find somebody doing cool shit out there and go spend a little time with them. It's a Saturday. I don't know who will be streaming right now. I don't know who we're going to go raid, but we're going to find somebody doing the good stuff, and we'll go give them some love. Thank you, Aristfan. Appreciate that. Uh, we rarely, if ever, get the chance to raid Adam Conover, old friend Adam. Adam looks like he's an hour in to playing Dragon's Dogma 2. He's just apparently starting the game. First stream of the game, I should say. So we're gonna go hang out with Adam because we don't get to raid him too often. Again, old friend. So we'll go hang out with Adam. Feel free to come along on this raid. Come back on Monday as I finish this kit and probably start something new because all I have left is the legs and the waist and I think like the weapons. But thanks for being here and I'll see you on the next stream. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.